Hi, I'm Danielle Neely, your host of Industry Edge, where we talk with leaders of some of the hardest working industries such as manufacturing, distribution, construction, and more. This episode is brought to you by KNC Marketing. KNC helps B2B industrial companies grow their brand and increase sales. KNC is a full service marketing agency that partners with B2B companies to either serve as a fully outsourced marketing partner or a supplement to their in house marketing team. To learn more about KNC's brand development, marketing, and design services, visit kncmarketingagency.com. I actually have Chad here from Rise 25, who has done thousands of interviews with successful entrepreneurs and CEOs, and we have actually flipped the script today, and he's going to be interviewing me. So, Chad, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Danielle. Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to finding out more about you and about KNC Marketing. Tell me, what kind of led you to choosing marketing as a career path?
Yeah. My mom always used to tell me that she thought I would be like a story writer or like kids' children book writer because I always liked creating and making fun stories and stuff. But then as I got older, I thought I was going to go down more of orthodontics, dentistry, something like that. And then when I got into college, I quickly learned that was not my calling at all. I did not jive with math and with biology. So that was a quick learning for me. So I kind of shifted into something that from a young age I excelled in, which was communications, writing, and all of that. And then I had a communications degree and I did an internship with my now business partner, Michelle, at Bridgestone Tires when she worked there. And that's kind of when my eyes were open to the world of marketing. That's kind of where I got started.
Nice. So how did you kind of grow from that internship, or where did your career go from there?
Yeah. After that, I was living in California at the time and I interned in Nashville for the summer. So after I finished school and graduated in California, I moved back to Nashville and I got a job. My first job out of college was I was a marketing specialist at a Swiss manufacturing company where they did like heavy duty food service equipment. And I was there for about 2 years. So that was kind of my first big girl job, is what I like to say, that where I really got to actually understand and apply marketing in a real life setting where they were paying me. So that was kind of my first job. And that was the first taste that I got into manufacturing and more of that more rugged industrial space.
And we went over this in a previous episode. So just give me kind of a brief background on how you and Michelle came together, your business partner,
Yeah.
to form KNC Marketing.
Yeah. So we're cousins. So we love each other by default because we are family. But we both have a very shared skill set, a complementary skill set, if you would. And when I was at Frankie, I was a part of a corporate layoff. And then it was kind of put inside my brain by her husband that, hey, y'all both are in marketing. There's a lot of people around here that could use your help. Why don't you start your own thing? So I texted her, was like, hey, why not? Why don't we try it? I had nothing to lose. She was still working at Frankie at the time, but I was like, let's give this a shot. And the rest is history.
Great. So now you work with people in the manufacturing, distribution, construction space, some other similar industries like that. What are some
Mm-hmm.
challenges, maybe some marketing challenges that people in those industries or those types of clients that you deal with often face?
Yeah. Typically we see a very similar like problems that when we talk to these people, and it's number one, I don't know where to start. Like I don't where should I start? I know I need to be marketing, but I don't necessarily know what that means or how I can execute it. Or number two, it's like I have an understanding of how I do it, but I don't have enough time to do it. So I need some ammunition on the fire to be able to keep that part of my business running while I'm doing other pieces of the business, because you don't need your office administrator or an operations person working on your marketing strategy. And that's typically what we'll see is like somebody kind of has it as a partial part of their role, but it's not something that they're fully dedicated to. So kind of just having the resources in-house to do it is typically something that a lot of these companies don't have, or if they do, it's just not at to the bandwidth that they need for the size organization that they are. So those are typically some of the problems that they face. And then it's like they know they want to grow, but they don't necessarily know what levers that might be. It's like, should I go to social media and I'm going to expect tons and tons of leads? Maybe, or maybe not. Like people in the B2B industrial world, it's like it could be a very different play than going to social. It could be having a highly targeted Google Ads campaign running to be able to attract those hot leads. There's kind of different levers depending on where they're at in their business and what they're actually trying to achieve. So those are typically the problems and challenges that we see.
What would you say is your kind of specialty when it comes to marketing? I know you have broad knowledge and experience in all aspects, but would you say like this is my wheelhouse?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes all kinds of kinds. Like our business is made up of creators, of strategists, of account managers. Where I really thrive is in the operations and how can we do this in a way that makes things efficient and keeps our wheel moving in order to benefit our client at the end of the day and keep our team happy and moving like and on pace. So definitely operations. And then I also have a way different side of my brain. Like I said, like the creativity part. So I'm kind of this weird mix of like leading creative, but also having kind of an operational mindset.
Has your approach to creativity changed since KNC Marketing was founded, or evolved, or expanded?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like when I was younger, it was more glamorized and cutesy stuff, and I still like to do that in my personal time, but obviously being creative for B2B brands is very different. But I think at the end of the day, when you're creating, you always have to think about the person that's absorbing the information. Where are they at in the customer journey, if you would, and how are you talking to them to make them feel like they are empowered to make the decision, that you are solving their problem and that you're guiding them versus you're the hero of the story. I think that's where a lot of companies can get it wrong, is they sometimes just position themselves as we're so good and we're so great, but it's like that's great and you should tout on that a little bit, but at the end of the day, how are you helping the person that's making the purchase decision to work with you, and how can you position them as the leader and guide them through it?
Sure. So, you mentioned clients might come to you and they might think like we need to start social media or something like that. So when a
Mhm.
client comes to you and they don't have much marketing background or a big marketing department or expertise, and they want to do things a certain way, how do you kind of maybe reposition them, or how does your approach maybe differ from the typical person who comes to you and just kind of wants to throw something out there?
Yeah, I mean, we always like people that are ready to go and have big ideas and they're like, I know I need this and I want to do this. We always like take into consideration that that is a good idea. If somebody comes to us for social media, we're like, yes, you most likely should be on social media. However, there are quite a few other things that we would look at first to just ensure that that is the right activity to get started with. Now, it could mean that we start curating social content and getting that engine running at the same time as some of the other things that we specialize in. So kind of just making sure that we're looking at it from a ground up approach. And typically people are really receptive to that. It's like they didn't really think about it from, oh, yeah, I absolutely should make sure that my logo and my branding is tight and my website can accept customers and teach customers about what I do and be able to track that. So website, logo, your mission, vision, values, your Google business profile, some of those really basic foundation things, some often get overlooked when people are like, I want to be on social media, because that's the stuff that everybody sees and the really fun part of marketing, but it might not necessarily be the first thing that we would suggest. So we just like to lay it out in a, hey, let's look at it holistically from the ground up, just like building a house, and just take it piece by piece. And people are typically very receptive and understanding of that.
So you talked about the foundational elements. Can you go through those again real quick?
Yeah. So we like to think of marketing like a house. So the first part of it, you wouldn't want to go put your roof on before your foundation is laid. So we like to think about your brand foundation being your website, professional photo and video that actually showcases your people and brings that human side to your brand. Another piece of that would be having really powerful Google Analytics on your website so you can actually see what's happening. Making sure your Google profile is number one claimed. If you are watching this right now, make sure you've claimed your Google business location. I'm just going to give you that little piece of information right there. Go check right now. It's really important. And then just making sure your messaging and your positioning is consistent across all of the channels that you participate in. It's something that is often overlooked, but it can be really, really powerful and confusing to people when they hear you're talking one way here and talking another way in a different place. So those are kind of the things. And then of course your logo, your brand guide, your fonts, your colors, all of that, those would all be the first things that we look at.
So you've got that. That's kind of the foundation. Once you feel like that's in place, where do you go from there?
Yeah, that next thing that we do, we start building those walls. You know, we're just little general contractors of marketing, if you would, but we start building the walls. And what comes next with that is these are where we're actually going to be going after those hot leads. So people that are going to the internet and searching for your particular service. So those are your low hanging fruit. So you want to make sure that you're capitalizing on those first. You do not want to miss those. So the way that we do that is usually by implementing a strategic Google Ads plan. And it could be multifaceted, you know, if like you have multiple divisions and you're trying to run different parts of your world and drive leads that way. We like to do a lot of work up front to make sure that we set up those campaigns to where we're driving leads, hot leads to each of those parts of your business. So Google Ads, producing really keyword rich SEO content for your website. That's how you can get that organic search over time and get those free leads. We love free. So if you can prioritize producing SEO content for your website, that's eventually over time going to be able to serve the customers that you're trying to get to. And so those are kind of those first couple things as part of the walls, if you would, that we would go to next.
Sure. So you've got the foundation and the walls. None of those things are really like the things that catch your eye or whatever, but those things are important. So now we're finally to the part where maybe are things that people see. What are those?
Yep, those are the fun things. Those are the fun, frilly things that everybody wants to go to first. So it's social media, billboards, and sponsorship opportunities, email marketing, paid social. So like the Facebook ads that pop up on your screen when you're scrolling there at night. All those kinds of things would be more of the roof element. So it's like once you have your foundational elements in place, your brand is jiving, you've got your, Google ad program running, and you have hot leads that are being driven your way. Let's touch on those brand awareness activities that could also be very helpful and drive leads. And we know that that's a thing, but those are kind of the things that would come third in our list just because they are more, like I said, brand awareness activities. They're passive searchers, people that could potentially need your service at some point, but they may not be hot in the market. Those are kind of those more attention grabbing things, if you would, that we would implement.
Does one channel fit with one client as opposed to another channel fits another one, and you have to kind of differentiate?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's typically what we see is like a lot of it is building, like not only from your customer, like building credibility for your customer on social and different things like that, but for your potential employees and your current employees. We've seen tremendous results from being able to really showcase the hardworking people within those businesses and like loving on them and showcasing them, and that attracting really high quality talent. So kind of it's marketing works for not only your customers, but it helps build your brand internally and attracting those people that are going to help keep your business running. So I feel like it touches all parts.
Yeah, I saw on your website you guys mention internal branding. Is that something that you've always had kind of in place at KNC, or how did that come about? You don't hear that much.
Yeah, that wasn't kind of by accident. We want a client of ours, a really long-standing client who we just adore. They strong visionary president, like absolutely understands and values marketing and gets it a lot. They wanted to kind of create this atmosphere of camaraderie and just kind of, and so we ended up campaigning it and naming it. And it's something that, and it's called their Bold program, and it's lived on for, I guess we did that 3 years ago, but they've been able to, it's called Bettering Our Lives Daily. And it's this big, like, internal brand that they do. And they've tucked so many like big, like operational things underneath this Bold brand. Like they offer 4-day work weeks for their technicians. And it's all tucked under this like Bettering Our Lives Daily. And it was something like from the brainchild of us. It's, they've executed and ran
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of things, but it was all under like, how do we bring the team together and have something that they can rally behind? And so that was kind of accidental. And we saw what the trickle that it had on that organization, and not only internally, but what it did to their business from a revenue standpoint. They just grew rapidly. So I feel like we just were like, if this is working for them, we need to apply this in different, businesses that are struggling with morale or losing people left and right, which is a struggle in a lot of businesses right now. So it kind of was by accident.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there's just so much more that goes into marketing than, just what you see on social media.
Right.
I know, and one of those things is web development and design. How does your approach maybe differ from what people might find elsewhere?
Yeah. We cross our T's and dot our I's in everything we do. And our websites are absolutely that as well. So we do everything from development, content, analytics. We have strategic partners that we pull in to be able to make sure that your website is beautiful, but not only beautiful, like it represents your brand, but it's high functioning, and it's ultimately over time going to help you drive leads and be able to understand, where did that lead come from? Did that lead come from a Google ad that we're running, or did that lead come from social? We like to do it from a very holistic approach. That's not only like, I just need a new website, throw this up. Like, no, let's be very intentional about what this website is going to do. What problems is it going to solve for you? What problems is it going to solve for your customer? And how do we make it look beautiful and be extremely functional and long lasting for you?
Okay, sounds good. Hey, Danielle, it's been great to talk to you. Thanks so much for having me today. I'll look forward to hearing you on your podcast in the future.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
So long, everybody.